I now hand the conference over to Mr. Amit Misra from Prabhudas Lilladher Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thanks, Anvi. On behalf of Prabhudas Lilladher, I welcome you all to the Jindal SAW Q1 FY22 post-earning conference call. Today we have with us Mr. Neeraj Kumar, Group CEO and Whole-Time Director, Mr. Vinay Gupta, President and Head Treasuries, and Mr. Narendra Mantri, President, Head Commercial and CFO. I thank management for giving us the opportunity to host this call and also would like to congratulate for a good set of results in a challenging environment. I now hand over the call to Mr. Neeraj Kumar for his opening remarks, followed by interactive Q&A session.
Good afternoon, friends. I hope all our friends, investors, stakeholders, they are all safe and taking good care of themselves during this pandemic, which is kind of playing hide and seek with us. This quarter again was infested with some anxious moments, but luckily our performance did not get impacted. Friends, as we have been saying repeatedly, our Q1 performance is a living and absolutely current testimony of what we have always said is the hallmark of Jindal SAW. To use an analogy, it is like a steady ship, which is almost like a rock of Gibraltar in a stormy sea. If you look at the stormy sea, which is the business environment, the steel prices have breached all kind of precedents in terms of the steep rise. The pandemic is not letting us breathe easy. The business environment due to the pandemic is getting impacted. Monsoons have become very erratic. Either there is no rain or there is so heavy rain that there is a problem. From all sides, there are different kinds of, metaphorically speaking, storm. But look at Jindal SAW, as steady as a rock of Gibraltar, and that is the hallmark of Jindal SAW. On a quarter-on-quarter performance, as opposed to 1,400 crores of top line, Q1 last year, we are at 2474, which is 76% growth. EBITDA 95% growth. PBT obviously from 15 to 227. PAT from 10 to 148. EBITDA percentage 16.63. Classic example of, on one side we are suffering the rise in raw material prices, which by the way, most of the sting we have taken over. Now we are able to pass it on to the customers. At the same time, there is a compensatory effect. The pellet division has more or less, or I would say more than compensated for the volatility in the raw material prices. So this stability of Jindal SAW business model has always kept us in very good stead. Look at 2008, 13, 19, and now 21. And this is one area that we always focus on as a management, and we are confident it will keep us in very stable state as we go forward, and we have developed new business drivers which are going to take us ahead. The second equally important aspect that I would like to highlight, again something that we have been saying, look at our debt profile. Steadily but surely moving in one direction. Jindal SAW overall debt less than 3,000, out of which close to 2,000 is working capital. For a trade finance driven business like ours, this is again a very healthy sign. Consolidated debt, similar direction. Consolidated results, again looking at the business environment where the US pipe business or oil and gas business or water business is yet to pick up. The stimulus announced by the government, still it's going through their Congress. Everything has yet to hit the ground. Abu Dhabi, the second wave of the pandemic, because now probably it looks like the Chinese vaccine that Abu Dhabi went for or UAE went for did not have the right kind of protection, because a lot of our people who did get fully vaccinated on Chinese vaccine have got impacted once again, have got affected once again. Same is the situation in most of the UAE, where there are very strong restrictions between Dubai and Abu Dhabi in terms of travel. So look at all of those, but still EBITDA positive. We did contribute over 40 crores in EBITDA between the standalone and consolidated results. So today I would like to have a more interactive session with you. I have just highlighted you three things: the stability of our result, the control over debt profile, and the consolidated results also now showing the trend or moving on the stated path. Let's very quickly now focus on what is in it for us as we look ahead. We are confident, except for one caveat: unless the pandemic, unless the COVID really comes with a very disruptive force, we are confident that this year should be a significantly better year for us as compared to FY21, where we had a top line of 9,000 with a bottom line of 329. So the way our order book is, the way we see the business, because in the last quarter we have had some very good interactions with some of our potential clients, some of the senior level authorities. The way we see it, we are confident that our performance should be significantly better, except for a huge disruption caused by the pandemic. Raw material prices also, we are hopeful that the impact of raw material prices have been largely taken care of, and it would help us because now we have been able to pass on those increases, and as we go forward, prices should ease out, because we are seeing that at least the momentum of the raw material prices is gone. Now there is a regulatory, I am told, oversight on it. Probably I am told that the Competition Commission is going to look into the prices of the steel. So that may have its own impact. But the outlook, business outlook, is looking good for us. Few significant items that we must mention: the relationship with Hunting is getting deeper and is likely to take a much more concrete shape. Since it's in WIP, probably next quarter I may be able to give you some more specific details, but it is taking a lot more concrete shape, where we would be able to expand our product portfolio in the very value-added OCTG segment. The stainless steel business is beginning to do well for us as we absorb that business in Jindal SAW. So there are some specific business drivers, and our overall positioning in the market with a very strong capital structure is such that we feel confident of a steady, good performance even in these times where things are troubled. Oil and gas sector is also likely to do well. Water sector is likely to do well. I'm sure all of you would know that from the market, from the various other players in the market. So Jindal SAW, we are confident that we will do well during this year. So with that, let me stop here and take some questions from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to withdraw yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Pratiksha from Equitas Intelligence. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. So, first question was about our UAE operation. So, we've seen a marked fall in the volumes there. So, if you could just enumerate the reasons what happened and how do we look at volumes going ahead?
When you say you have seen a marked
on a quarter-on-quarter basis, sequentially.
Sorry?
Sequentially, on a quarter-on-quarter basis.
Yeah, see, sequentially, as I told you, for our business everywhere, sequential looking at is not the best way to look at, because everywhere we have these seasonal, so you must compare it with the last year, same period, because what we are confident of, last year we crossed the ever highest 2 lakh tons.
Right.
Even after this first quarter performance the way it is, we are still confident of, based on the order book that we have. But as I said, I keep on caveating, the performance first quarter got impacted due to the pandemic. In terms of, we did have a lot of people get impacted, and the operations had to be scaled down significantly, because as you know, at this point of time there are visa restrictions. We can't send people from India to Abu Dhabi. The people who got impacted, necessarily they had to be put in quarantine, and therefore our production level had to be scaled down because of this unique situation. But otherwise, in terms of the order book, still we hold that for the full year performance, it should be higher than and better than the 2 lakh tons that we have done last year.
Great. Okay, that's very encouraging. Okay, on the second question I had about the seamless division. So what I understand is the order book in terms of volume sequentially remains more or less same, but our value of order book has risen significantly. So what would be, why would be there such a marked increase in realization?
Marked increase in realization of?
As in our order book, what I understand is $94 million. This compares to $54 million in March 21. But in terms of volume, the order book remains flat, like constant.
Correct. So that only shows that now we are entering the volume. That's something that we have been saying, and it reflects exactly the same. That now, because of the hunting, now because of our Atmanirbhar, we have moved up the value chain where the NSR, which is the net sales realization per ton, is going to go up, and seamless business, stainless business are the ones which will see the impact the most. And so that only reflects what we have been saying, that in the seamless stroke stainless stroke alloy business, we are looking to go up the value chain. We are also entering some very exotic segments like the 13 chrome and all that.
Sorry, we are entering. Could you repeat that?
Some exotic segments like 13 chrome. See, okay, let me just take a minute to explain all the investors a little bit about this. In seamless pipes and tubes, there is a segment which is called carbon steel, which is typically the carbon steel, which is the commercial grade. Then there is a segment which is the stainless steel. Stainless steel typically starts with or there you have the 304s and 316 and the others. You keep on going there in the Inconel and other exotic grade. The third segment is what we call the alloy steel. Alloy steel is where it is essentially carbon steel but mixed with certain alloys like chrome. So 13 chrome means there is a higher percentage of chrome. Then you go to 18 chrome and then 25. So these are some of the exotic grades of carbon steel made out of alloy. As Jindal SAW, we have made a conscious decision of moving up the value chain where Atmanirbhar Bharat is also helping us. These were grades or these were tubes made out of these products were thus far been imported. Now we are able to replace them through our own production facility in Nashik, and therefore there is a increase in the NSR.
Okay. Sir, one question on SAW segment, large dia pipe segment. So when do we see, the order book or the demand to pick up and reach previous levels? So generally, we used to have about 500,000 tons sort of a order book. So what's the outlook there? How do we see things moving there?
It all depends. If we assume that the third wave doesn't come, then you will see that soon. Maybe we will see that in the third quarter, second quarter, all the order book and execution beginning in third quarter. Because I must tell you, at this point of time, oil and gas is seeing some buoyancy. As you see, the oil prices have come to a level where some of the projects are becoming viable. Second, in the water segment, both for DI as well as for large diameter pipes, it's good news. Most of the states have their own pipe grid, which is almost now running the tender stage, where the basic survey, etc., has been done, the project has been conceived, and it is now hitting the tender stage. So if there is no third wave, then it is as soon as order book in quarter 2, execution will begin in quarter 3. Because please understand, Jal Jeevan Mission is one of the major initiatives of this government, and they have to go for re-election in 2024. So they would have to show some results, and therefore there is a time constraint on Jal Jeevan Mission.
Okay, all right. And then lastly,
sorry to interrupt, ma'am. I would request you to come back in the queue, please.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anish Krishnan from Wealth Creators. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Congratulations on a good set of numbers. I have two questions. Number one is that could you give any forward guidance on the year-end EBITDA we can expect? Will it be in the same trajectory, better than what is to be guided? Because in the last con call, you had said that this is what more or less you can extrapolate into 4 quarters. So can we expect anything above, say, 1,800 or 1,900 crore EBITDA?
I don't think I would be allowed to speak numbers. All I can tell you is that this year's EBITDA, if there is no third wave of pandemic, would definitely be significantly better than the last year.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is on the debt reduction. As guided in the last con call, it was to be 550 to 600 crores of normal debt reduction, which was due this year. So, seeing that we are going to do significantly better, hopefully we will. Will that change to a higher number in the sense that would you reduce more debt than 600?
See, it all depends on the, when you say now, long-term debt is already 1,600, right?
Yeah.
Now 1,600, depending on the repayment schedule, etc., may become 1,200, 1,300, but it all depends on how we manage our working capital. So if we are able to liquidate a lot of, the effort is always to liquidate inventory and collect as much as we can during the March end. So
Okay.
if we are able to succeed in that, then you will see definitely a good decrease in the debt level.
Okay.
But let me ask you a question. Do you think now an organization of our size, with an EBITDA and with a stability of EBITDA that we have, is debt still a concern for all of you?
So to be very honest, the overhanging concern with all investors remains that the NTPC money is not coming in and the dates are getting pushed quarter to quarter. So that is one major concern with all the investors, that it's understandable from your side that the COVID has happened and the High Court and the Supreme Court must not be functioning. But the problem is that, sir, there's a major overhang of the debt concern. So now that even though our standalone business is doing very well.
Let me stop you there. Are you saying it's a large chunk of money? Yes. When it comes, it will have a different kind of an impact on the balance sheet. Yes. But I just want to understand that a 1,600 crore debt with a maybe 1,100 or 1,200 crore of working capital,
Right.
or organization of our size with the stability of EBITDA of our size, on a standalone basis, does it still remain a matter of concern for all of you? I can get that NTPC. There is no going away from that. We are all looking at it. But as you know, we are helpless because now the dates that have come is 2nd and 6th of September. And I'm sure you would be able to check that the Delhi High Court is absolutely acting mechanical. Mechanical means they just in block take and give a new date. So it's not a question of they are being selective or they are being, and we are not putting in effort or whatever. This is a matter of fact that can be checked. Delhi High Court is picking up all cases in block and shifting the dates.
No, sir, I completely understand in that point. It's just that as investors, we have a major concern about that point because it's been quite some time, and getting that huge chunk of money really changes the whole balance sheet for our organization.
Correct. But is the debt still causing a concern? That's a different issue. The moment that comes, maybe we will become a debt-free organization. Maybe. I don't know. Because I have my own observations, or I have my own views on should we be a debt-free company or should we be a completely equity-driven company. That's a situation because then the return on capital employed, return on equity and other factors come into play. But
Correct.
Is this debt level something which is causing, or should it be causing a concern to you, especially the kind of trend that we have shown over the last few years? Means it has never shown any erratic behavior, is what that I am saying. March 31st, we mobilized 500 crores from LIC. And we did say that it is essentially to correct our capital structure. And see, that has indeed happened, that even after mobilizing that quantum of debt, the overall debt has come down. So I want to give that confidence to the investors that when we say that we are managing our capital structure diligently, objectively, we are doing so.
Okay. No, sir, over the past 4 quarters, it's been really encouraging how investor-friendly and how all the positives have come up, and we are quite happy to see that. But it's just that in the stock price, it does not reflect it, and then we tend to think that because of the NTPC money, maybe there is an overhang. That's why we are a little disheartened in that regard.
I absolutely share your views that NTPC should happen, but I must also tell you that now the dates have come 2nd and 6th of September. The part that we have achieved, we had to put in a lot of effort in this, and good part that we have achieved is we have been able to isolate 34 from all other matters. Earlier it used to be 1, and that's how NTPC managed to so far hide behind the other matters. and not let the objection and enforcement progress. But now, High Court, in one of the hearings where we had to bring in real heavyweight, I had to make a personal request to those heavyweight lawyers, because normally they don't appear in High Court, to make that effort, and they have succeeded in separating the two, where now the Section 34, that means NTPC's objection, plus our enforcement of the order, will be dealt with independently from all other matters. And that, we believe, should give enough momentum to this case to reach it to its finality. So there is a step which we believe should help us expedite the whole thing and get us the the retired or the desired destination. We hope we should be able to. But I absolutely agree with you that this is something which is not a matter of concern, but till the time it doesn't happen, it is always so much money which is pending, and it is not helping us grow our business or helping us correct our capex or helping us correct our capital structure. So I share that with you, and I hope that we would be able to do this very quickly.
Thank you so much. All the best.
Thanks.
Thank you. Participants are requested to restrict their questions to 2 per participant. The next question is from the line of Urvija from Isha Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for your presentation. I had a couple of questions, sir. If you can help us understand what led to the margin expansion in this quarter. So, is it safe to assume that the pellet prices have also been a major contributor this quarter? And, sir, just ballpark for, understanding of all other companies give up understanding between their value-added business and the commodity business. So, can you give us an understanding what percentage of revenues is pellet business? Sir, it is a pure commodity business. So, as investors, sir, just to understand the nature of Jindal SAW, if you can give us a rough idea, is what percentage of EBITDA and revenues were the pellet business?
Okay, to answer your first question, did pellet business contribute to the EBITDA this year? The answer is yes. This is the nature of business, madam, that you must understand. This is the nature of our business structure, which has been deliberately, consciously created so that it provides the stability to our business model. Second.
Right, sir. I did attend your AGM, and we had the vision from the chairman, sir, also. That
exactly. Now for you to seek, now for you to seek segmental details, I do appreciate that for a business analyst, it would be easier if you get that number, but also please appreciate, since you are a stakeholder in our company, this is a USP. This is a competitor-sensitive information. This is the one which keeps every of our peers guessing in terms of our pricing strategy. And therefore, we don't put this in the domain, not because we don't want to. I do understand it will make your life easy, my life easy. But this is a very competitor-sensitive information. This is a USP of our organization.
Right, sir. But from the revenue point of view, is it right to assume that it would be roughly around 20-25% of revenues in this quarter, the pellet business?
Madam, I'll give you I'll not answer a straight question. I'll give you a way. We give you tonnages. Yeah, we give you tonnages everywhere. You know the NSR, the market price of everything. So with a little bit of calculation, you will arrive at your own conclusion, which will be within a band of 5%. I must tell you that.
Okay, right.
Yeah, just go take the quantity, take the market price, and then you would be able to arrive at everything. But for us to put it in the domain, we consciously don't do it, because then we will have to, as I said, it's a competitor sensitive information.
Right. Okay. So, how has the DI pipe pricing trend been? So if you can give us some idea on that. The overall market.
DI, okay, let me tell you, DI, now we are sitting pretty. We have a very strong order book. Most of our old order book, we have been able to reprice it with the clients, except the ones which are with government without any price escalation clause. So wherever we have a contract directly with the government, and in the contract if there is no price escalation clause, then we have no option but to honor our commitment to the government. But for others, but for those contracts, we have been able to arrive at a price escalation on most of the other contracts. So we are able to pass on this increase in the raw material prices. We are hoping that once the raw material prices soften a little bit, we might be able to get some more benefit out of it.
Right. Okay. And so one last question. The pellets that we do the beneficiation and then we sell them. So, can you explain the cost economics of this process?
Cost economics are different. See, we get pellets. We have our own mines, we get pellets. We have our own beneficiation facility, and then we have our own, facility for pelletization. So the cost just stacks up. It is mine the cost, beneficiate it, take it to a higher FE, and then make them into pellets.
Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sailesh Raja from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity here. So in DI pipes, as you partly answered, of the total outstanding order book, how much would be legacy orders and how much will be like order which will give decent EBITDA per ton of 5,000 rupees, given the iron ore price of $200 and coking coal price of $230? Can you give the breakup, sir?
As I told you, but for the few contracts which are with the government directly, most of it we have repriced. So I would say that less than 25% of my current order book is on the fixed price, and the rest is all with the increased price. So it's not I would say the price increase impact, the worst is over for Jindal SAW.
Okay. That is very helpful, sir. And second is like your larger player in stainless steel is talking big plans, and what is the growth plan for us to progressively move from 5,000 tons volume to 25,000 tons? What are the initiatives we are taking? And what is the total investment in this segment? What payback you are expecting?
You said total investments?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at the balance sheet, it is still all showing up in capital work in progress, which is more or less now coming to an end. We will have to, whatever is there in the CWIP, which is visible to all of you, probably we'll have to add in maybe another 40 to 50 crores just for finishing and just for the balancing equipment. And then we are ready for a large capacity in terms of seamless. Plus welded, we have even higher capacity, because in welded we can go up to 40 inches in diameter.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, what was in 1Q? What was our volume, sir, in stainless steel?
See, again, stainless steel boss don't look at volume, because stainless steel is not a volume business. And especially when I told you that we will go up to, because if you look at half-inch tube, which is the instrumentation tube, that would sell at maybe 12 lakh rupees a ton. Whereas if you look at a 304, would sell at 5-6 lakh rupees a ton. So therefore, just tonnage is if I give you just the tonnage about stainless business, I would be misguiding you. Because our effort is not to just become a volume player. Our effort is to have a base level just of the base grade, which is 304, 316L, but definitely have value add where we go into duplex, super duplex, instrumentation tube, and all of those. So probably we would be able to take the value is more important than tonnage.
Okay. So can we expect 500 crores kind of EBITDA in next 3 years?
Say it again.
No, can we expect 500 crores EBITDA in next 3 years?
500 crores EBITDA in next 3 years. No, that would be a little stretch unless we are really able to move everything into value segment.
Okay.
Yeah. So in terms of expectation, it will definitely be above 3 for sure, but 5 would be a stretch, and I'm talking of a 3-year period.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Above 3 is definitely.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. Participants, a reminder, please restrict your questions to 2 per participant. The next question is from the line of Sahil Sanghvi from Monarch Networth Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah. Good evening.
Yeah. Sir, I have 2 questions, and this is regarding the DI pipe segment. Sir, one of your peers has said that the DI pipe industry is undergoing a situation in which there is a deficit in the supply and the demand has gone 3x. So do we have any expansion plans to capture this opportunity?
Yes, we are examining various organic and inorganic options to expand our DI business.
Okay. And secondly, sir, some of the players have seen a good rise in their order book also when it comes to DI pipes. So we are still not seeing that in our order book. So what's happening over here, and when can we expect some improvement in our order book for DI pipes, sir?
Can you hold for a second?
Yes, sure.
Can you just repeat the question again? The line is not very clear.
Yes. Am I audible? Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, just ask the specific question because your line is not very clear, but I would just want to get the crux of your question and I'll respond to that.
Sure, sir. So I'm just looking at the trend of the order book, sir, since last 4-5 quarters, and we are hovering around 5.7 to 6 lakh tons for the DI pipe order book, while some of your peers have almost went to 1.5, 2x in the order book front. So can you just guide us what's happening over here, and can we expect some order book surge in the next coming quarters?
Yes, got the answer. Got your question. If the order book, in terms of the tenders, the way they are planned, they come out, you would see a similar surge in order book for us as well. We were, during this volatile raw material situation, we were consciously wanting to stay away, because then you don't know where to pitch and you don't know how to pitch, and therefore it is better that you conserve, because we had a very healthy order book. But we are very confident that if the tenders, the way it comes, we would be able to get orders at the right price, because now the raw material prices have more or less stabilized.
Okay. Got it, sir. And lastly, can you throw some light on which states are contributing to new orders right now? Which are the active states right now?
In ductile iron?
In DI pipe, yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, ductile iron. Okay. Maharashtra has a big plan.
Okay.
The Andhra has a big plan. UP has a big plan. Punjab, Rajasthan. So these are the 5 states which has big plans, which we definitely are talking to them. Madhya Pradesh, not to forget Madhya Pradesh as well.
Sure, sir. Got it, sir. Thank you, sir, and all the best.
Bye.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Arun Rathi. He's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir. One thing I want to ask, sir. Where do you see this company over a period of 2 years, sir?
Where do we see this company 2 years? One thing I must tell you that we will remain as stable as we are, doing good business, and probably by then most of the new initiatives in terms of stainless, in terms of hunting joint venture, this, that, whatever that we have taken, they would all be done and finished, and you would see an organization which is a leadership position which is much, much more consolidated, much wider in terms of product range, and in value-added segments based on the Atmanirbhar initiative of the government. So we definitely see in the next 2 to 3 years Jindal SAW at a elevated level of operations where we would have consolidated our leadership position.
Okay. And sir, second question is that you have told about the cylinder development that you have started in previous call, that you are developing some cylinders, CNG cylinders. So that is
a unique. So that is a unique thing that we have entered. As I told you, we are among the few or the only who are doing 16 inches in seamless pipes, and CNG cylinders are one of these significant advantages or applications of that. And this is a good segment in automobile where we have broken through, and we hope to do, because there are not many players in the country who can do 16 inches in seamless.
So any development in that, sir, in this quarter?
Yeah, we are going to now. We have broken through. We have got a in progress.
Okay. And sir, any development that you were talking about, a tablet tubeless product? You said that the tubeless product that is used in automobiles. Maybe we are venturing into that also. So any development in that?
Again, maybe you need to speak in the phone properly. I'm not able to hear you. Automobile sector is significant. Let me just try and guess your question. See, automobile, we have entered this. Prior, we were in bearings. There are a few players who can do bearings, and we are now significantly ahead in bearing sector. All other tubular products in automobile, yes, automobile is one of our focus areas, and we will do well there.
Okay. So any development that can be attached with the EV, with electrical vehicle side, with the Jindal SAW?
See, electric vehicle on one side takes away a lot of tubular products like propeller shaft, etc. But it still has significant tubular products where we are very strong and we wish to remain very strong, which are, for example, the casing of the shock absorbers, steering pipes. So all of those would be there, and that we remain. But electric vehicle, does it use higher tubular product than the conventional diesel petrol vehicle? The answer is no.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is the line of Srinivas, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Yeah, good evening.
So my question is regarding note 6 to the P&L. During the
note P&L. Okay, just hold. Let me just get hold of the note. Yes, tell me, which note are you talking about?
Yeah, during the quarter you have converted loans amounting to 212 crores into preference share. Which is the subsidiary? And what was the earlier rate of interest? And now what is the rate of preference share? That is the one question.
And the second one is, in your latest shareholder, annual report, we can see that there are clearly 4 divisions you speak of. Power Pipes division, DI Pipes division, Carbon and Alloy Steel division, Mining and Pellets division. And as an investor, as a shareholder, I would like to receive my segment revenues and segment profit details as per the division. Just think about it, sir.
Okay, so now to answer your question number 2, we have already answered that. As you rightly said,
competitive sensitive issue is different, sir. Investor friendly issue is different. Let's think about that. That gives a lot of information to our shareholders. We don't have to take it from somewhere else and crunch the number. You can give it to us as investor friendly management.
Okay, probably it's best that you talk to our office, because when you say investor friendly means what? You want me to give you the numbers?
The 4 divisions. Anyway, the 4 divisions are boldly mentioned in the annual report, the first few pages. So just division-wise revenue and the result.
Okay, let me answer the other question. I said if we need to talk about that, we should talk offline, because we don't, as Jindal SAW, we maintain ethics. I cannot share anything informally with anyone. Whatever we share with everybody, absolutely, transparently, openly. So if you have any other expectation, then maybe you should talk to our investors relation group. They'll guide you. So to answer your other question about conversion of some of the instruments into preference shares from loans, if you recall, we have already said that in some cases, to manage our subsidiaries well and to manage our balance sheet well, we are converting some of the loans into preference shares, which they can be redeemed at whenever they are. And as far as the instrument is concerned, we take care that whenever we convert any instrument, we try and maintain the interest rate, in this case dividend rate, or in this case whatever you call it, the time value for money rate, the same, so that it doesn't impact. These are instruments which are being used essentially to make sure that if the loan is taking time, you convert them into a suitable instrument. So probably the interest rate would be the same, but still Mr. Narendra Mantri, who is our controller, I would request him to explain this in more detail to you.
All I wanted is, which is the subsidiary, what was the interest on loan earlier, and what is the preference share rate of interest. That's it.
The same. I told you, we maintain the same rate of interest. But if you wish to know why, what, then Mantri will explain that to you.
In this case, the rate of interest was 6%, and we have fixed the dividend rate also at 6%.
Name of the subsidiary.
Should we move on, sir?
Yeah, this is relating to the US operations and Abu Dhabi operations. They are holding companies.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants are requested to restrict their questions to 1 per participant. The next question is from the line of Pratiksha, Equitas Intelligence. Please go ahead.
Just one follow-up question, sir. So, you mentioned that since the raw material price issue is now behind us and now we are into value-added segments, do we expect FY22 blended EBITDA to be similar to anywhere with like FY19, FY20 levels?
Similar or better.
Okay, that's it. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Parthiv Jonsa from NVS Brokerage. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Congratulations on the good set of numbers. Sir, almost all my questions were answered. Just I wanted to know one thing. Historically we have almost say 9 to 10% of PAT margins. Just wanted to understand by when in near future can we achieve this, because our EBITDA margins are definitely going up, but our PAT margins are around that 5 to 6% kind of a range.
You are right, and we are working on improving the capital structure of Jindal SAW.
Correct, sir. Correct.
One of them is obviously the NTPC, but still, if you see, because of the legacy issues, the loans and advances, and that part of the asset requires some correction. We are focused at that. The moment we succeed, and as I said, we are looking at how to improve that, you will see that the return on capital as well as return on equity will go up. So yes, what you say, we take note of it, and I wish to assure you we are working at it.
Okay, perfect. And sir, you already have an order book of decent couple of quarters across, each and every given product, at least minimum, say 2 quarters to ranging to up to almost, I would say 5 quarters. Just wanted to know, you have already, told, you have already, given a guidance of the coming year to be better than FY21. Just wanted to know, like, what is your internal understanding for, say, FY23, 24, that kind of a thing? Just your internal broad understanding. I don't want any guidance. I just want to know your management's perception about the market and everything. That's it.
I have also answered that question, that over the next 3 years, we see Jindal SAW as a significantly strong market player, where not only we will consolidate our leadership position, but we would expand our product range by adding stainless. We will get much deeper in OCTG by deepening our relationship with Hunting. And on top of Atmanirbhar. So if you see the Government of India initiative, the tailwind that we have, the strategic initiatives that we are taking in terms of expanding, next 3 years you would see Jindal SAW very, very significantly value-added organization, but remaining focused on the pipe segment. That is a conscious choice that we had taken. From a lot of non-pipe business, we have started focusing on the core competency, which is the pipe business. Now here we are expanding in all dimensions. We are going deeper, we are expanding our product range, and we will expand our capacity as well. So next 2 to 3 years, we should see Jindal SAW significantly strong market leader.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and all the best, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shanti Patel, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. The question is, what is our share of market share in respect of various verticals in the organized sector? And second, if you can, what is the return on equity and return on capital employed you are expecting as on 31st March 2022?
First, I'll have to request you to do your own calculations when it comes to ROE, ROCE, because I don't think I would be allowed to make those numbers.
No, not specific numbers compared to what was on 31st March 21. How much?
I definitely, as I tell you, 21, March 21, March 22. March 22, except, as I caveat it, if there is no third wave, we would be significantly better.
That's in the market share, if you can.
Okay, market share, if you are looking at our large dia, we are among the top 2 players in the country with individual market share of around between 25 and 30. In DI, we are the market leader. In seamless, in value-added segment, because in seamless, in terms of value, we are not the largest, but in terms of per ton or EBITDA, probably we would be there. Stainless, we are a new entrant, so at present that market percentage doesn't make sense, because every month we are penetrating the market, every month we are growing the market. So in the top pellet, again, it's a balancing figure. We have a 1.5 million ton capacity. There are specialized steel players who have got much more in capacity, but we have a USP that we are the only mine-owned pellet plant in northern India. So that gives us a significant freight advantage and a captive market. So to reiterate, in large dia, market share of 25 to 30, in DI, the largest, which would be upward of 30-35. The rest, as I told you, we are not very large in terms of market segment, in terms of percentage of market share, but we have our USPs which make us unique and which make us profitable.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Due to time constraint, I now hand the conference over to Mr. Kumar from Jindal SAW for closing comments.
Thank you very much. I must thank all the stakeholders, investors, for taking keen interest in us. I am happy, we are relieved, we are happy that over the last quarters now, the shareholders, the market has started at least looking at the value that we have created for ourselves. All I would like to assure you that we would continue our effort, we would continue our endeavor to make Jindal SAW, the company, as I said, over the next 2 to 3 years, a significantly strong market leader in the pipe industry. And I would hope that all our stakeholders stay with us, stay happy, and in the end, I wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you at the end of the half-yearly results, where we are confident we will give you a good result as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Prabhudas Lilladher Private Limited, we conclude this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.